Vaping Twinkie. Today we're doing something a little different. I'm not just going to do a review. I'm actually going to do a tutorial video. As I have a lot of customers that come in, lots to which every week I have them coming in asking me just to prime their coil. And these are some customers that have been vaping for over a year, maybe even 2 years. But for some odd reason, they say, I prime the coil better, they get better flavor, their coils last longer. Well, you know what? I'm going to show you how I do it so you can put this video on repeat so you can understand, do it yourself also. So I'm not just going to do it on one tank. I'm going to give you 3 different types of tanks so you have a better understanding. What I'm about to do falls alongside of every tank out there, every sub-ohm tank out there. There's no difference to them, maybe just cotton placement or size basically, or the coil is either a lower wattage coil or a higher wattage coil. Well, the 3 tanks that I'm going to be working with is going to be the Crown 3 Mini, Freemax Fire Luke Mesh, and of course the Wake tank, the flavor tank, one of my personal favorites. Other than that, I'm going to break it down. All 3 of these guys have no coils in there. So I'm going to take it apart, put the coils in there. I'm going to bring you down here so you have a better visual and better idea of what I'm doing on priming them. And then I'm going to bring you back up. So here are the 3 tanks we're going to be working with. Starting from the left to the right, we got the Crown 3 Mini. You got the Fire Luke Mesh and the Wake. I want to switch things up, so I'm going to go with Golden Ticket, Fruit Twist, and Fried Watermelon. Well, there you have it, guys. All 3 tanks are primed up. The cotton's nice and juicy. From here on out, I'm going to bring you guys back up and I'll show you how I ladder prime these coils. All right, guys. Now that we got everything juiced up and ready to go, my technique on ladder priming. Let me show you that. You know, I'll be honest with you, I've been doing it for years. I'm pretty darn sure somebody has an idea of doing the same thing. I'm not trying to claim this idea or name it, but this is my way I've been doing for quite some time, and out of all honesty, it has never failed me. That's why I have so many customers always coming into the shop and telling me, can you do it for me, blah, blah, blah. And they like the way I do it. I don't think it's just for the fact that the way I do it, I think they just feel like I do it better. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but let me just show you what I'm talking about, okay? So we're gonna get started with the Crown 3 Mini. It's the same exact thing as your standard Crown 3. It's just a little bit smaller, holds a lot less juice. But what I do with ladder priming, this coil is a 0.25 ohm coil. It's rated for anywhere from 80 to 90 watts. What I do, I start off extremely low, about 45 watts, let's say for this one, cut it in half, 45 watts. Start off around 45 watts. What I do is I blow in and out of it. I'm just gonna show you how I do that. So that's already at 45 watts. And I do that for every 5 to 10 watts, depending. And we're gonna stop right here at the low point, 80 watts. Time for the Freemax mesh. It's gonna reread it, new coil. I'm gonna start this one off a little lower. This coil is rated anywhere from 60 to 90 watts, I believe. So I'm gonna start off around 20 watts. For the Freemax mesh, I do a little bit differently. I've been playing with this tank for quite a while, even prior to the release. I probably have maybe 6 of these tanks laying around. I really like these tanks a lot. Great flavor, long-lasting coils. It says from 60 to about 80 or 90. I kind of forgot what the rating was for the coil. It's a 0.15 ohm coil, mesh coil. I always, for some reason, it's my OCD, I guess, but I keep it at 55.5 watts. I honestly get anywhere from 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month off of a certain, depends on the juice really. But yeah, 55.5 watts seems like it's a sweet spot. I've tested out at 65 watts, great cloud production, great flavor still, but I just feel like I don't get as long lasting coils as I do at 55 watts. She's ready. All right, guys, time for the wake tank. This one's a 0.5 ohm coil. It's rated from 40 to 80 watts. I'm gonna start this one off even lower than a Crown 3 Mini and lower than a mesh. Start this off around 10 watts. See, this one I over primed just because I was using a dropper bottle instead of a unicorn bottle. Which, like I said, does not matter. I rather over prime it than under prime it. This one, you could actually hear how when you blow in or out of it, it gargles a little bit, which is perfectly fine. So for that, I always tell people when that happens, blow as hard as you can into it. As you can see, that gargle in there, or the excess juice from the over priming, just shoots right out, and it's back to normal. You're just basically cutting it off and pushing it away. Well, I had to switch mods because for some odd reason my Fuchai wasn't reading the tank, so I just threw it onto my my Michael, my Asvape Michael. So let's start all over. So this one's rated for 40 to 80 watts. When I was using this tank prior to this video and prior to putting a new coil in, I felt like the sweet spot was about 45 watts. 5 watts over its lowest recommended. This tank is phenomenal. It has great flavor for a 0.5 ohm coil. 45 watts. And as you can tell, For 45 watts, that has great cloud production. Not too big, not too small, right where it's supposed to be at. Phenomenal, phenomenal tank. I had to take a couple more pulls off that. Other than that, that's basically it. Ladder priming. As I always say, whenever you see a coil that has a recommended rating wattage from 30 to 70 watts, whatever, please just, out of my personal experience and whatnot, doing this for quite a while, I feel like just leaving at the lowest possible recommended temperature, or wattage should I say, adding 5 to 10 watts, maybe 15 watts depending on the coil, depending on what kind of resistance and what kind of wires in there. Also, you could go up to that 15 watts plus. I would not really recommend going to peak its wattage at its highest point. A lot of people do that, like I say, and they have a lot of problems, having to burn out their coils, bad taste, or they lose flavor and whatnot. I'd rather you guys save your money and have longer lasting coils, sticking with its lowest wattage, plus or minus 5 to 10 watts, depending, even 15 watts. Honestly, can't go wrong with it. I've been doing it for years. I already had a few people copying me and whatnot, which is pretty cool, and they've even told me it's never failed them. They love the idea, they love the concept. So people always ask me this. A lot of these coils nowadays, they have a rating on there. Smart coils in general, you got from 30 to 90 watts. I've seen, what was it, I think 80 to 170 watts. That goes for any coil in general, not just smock. How I explain to people, they always tell me, what's the wattage? I keep it at the lowest rating, plus or minus 5 to 10 watts. People ask me, like, well, why don't you do that 170? That's the trick. That's the gimmick right there. It really annoys me because it's false. On the most part, it's not always false, because a lot of these coil companies now are pretty accurate with their ratings. The smock in general, or even, I'll be honest with you, it's probably just smock. Let's say the smock Baby Beast, they have, I think it was the T8 coils rated anywhere from 30 to 80 watts. I'm not 100% sure, but look at it this way. I believe they purposely do that for you as a consumer to be like, okay, you know what? It says 30 to 90 or 80 watts. How's about I just vape it at 75, 80 watts? Let's max it out. I want to get the most cloud reduction. The thing is, they purposely do that for you to do so. And the fact is, your coil's not going to last you really long, because you're reaching its peak point, its maximum wattage output, and you're just going to burn out your coil and your cotton a lot quicker, which actually makes you go back to your vape store or vape shop and have to buy new coils. I don't want you to do that. I want your coils to last as long as possible. So I always tell people, like, stick with the lowest point. Like on this is 80 to 90 watts. I would keep it anywhere from 70 to 85 watts maximum. I wouldn't want to max it out. So like I always say, I want crisp, clean flavor. People don't understand. Higher the wattage, majority of the time you're gonna lose the flavor unless you're building. I feel like lower wattage units, let's say like the Wake tank, you get better flavor on. Also with the new Freemax mesh tank. So don't judge me. This is my opinion, my idea. I think of it this way. Feel free. If you have your own opinion, go for it. I know some people have told me they've peaked out certain coils. They've got more than a week out of it, which is phenomenal. Kind of hard to believe, but great. Good for you. Can't go wrong with that. But like I say, I always keep it at the lowest temperature, anywhere from 5 to 10 watts plus or minus. Pretty cool thing is there's a tank called the Falcon, and I love how they put their wattage range. They don't have a number dash a number. What they have is, let's say, well, they have the mesh core that's pre-installed inside the Falcon tank, which is 70 and has a plus and a minus underneath with a 10 next to it, which is pretty cool. So it tells you keep it at 70 watts plus or minus 10 watts, which is phenomenal. They don't give you that range from 70 to 120 watts, so that at 120 watts you're going to burn out your coil. I like that idea. I wish everybody could go along with that also. A lot of people, when they prime their coils, you know, they juice it up just like I showed you and they let it sit. Me personally, I kind of want to hit it right as soon as possible. I don't want to wait that 30 to 45 minutes. I want to get it going right away so I can enjoy that great tasting vape. So feel free to take this idea, use it yourself. Can't go wrong with it. I've been doing it for quite a while. I've got a lot of people that jumped onto the train also doing the same thing, and I haven't heard anything bad about it. Please don't say that I developed this. I did not. It's just an idea I decided to start doing years ago, and I'm pretty darn sure there's somebody out there nowadays doing the same exact thing I'm showing you right now. Please, everyone, like, subscribe. Feel free to drop your opinions down below. I'm going to have everything linked in the description for my Instagram, my Facebook, the whole 9 yards, basically. Feel free to comment. I'll be more than happy to reply if I got any time. That's no problem at all. Thanks again. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you guys have a better idea now on how to prime your tanks, your sub-ohm tanks. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for watching.